Okay, so we are once again live. Let us configure for the next matchup. Round Robin Game 2, mrxak versus Nota.
Wow, it's almost like the tournament director was really excited about getting all the games started and harassed people until they played with him.
Indeed. Who would have thought? We have mrxak versus Nota Game 1 on Automaton Ladder Edition. Very important that it's the Ladder Edition.
So, Control Shift 3 and Zulu.
Standard. Nota of Oracle harassment fame. How will he open up against his Zerg opponent?
Oh, I remember this game.
The scouting potential harassing probe crossing well across the map. The first building will be a gateway, so this is not a cannon rush. What will the probe do? Checking for the Zerg expansion. A few seconds too early. Oh, he's going for the expansion denial. And the worker dance will ensue.
No, I'm just going to build it with third.
What? What? I mean, I can feign ignorance only so long. Nota did this to me. Unfortunately, Nota has actually placed his Nexus in a horrible spot, and mrxak's going to see that immediately.
I did not have the best reaction to this, but I knew what this was.
Because you showed it to him.
And I was not panicked. No, I don't think I showed it to him.
But
I think we both heard about it from the same place, though.
The spawning pool will go down very quickly in response to this.
I actually went pretty standard timing on that. I definitely should have done it sooner, but... Also, I should have pulled workers.
Oh, but the probe came back the very next day. What will the probe do? Or is he just gonna hang out and run around in circles for no reason? There we go. A pylon. He's building a pylon next to his Nexus. And the Ling speed begins. Meanwhile, at home, he has a Zealot. And the Chrono Boost is Chrono Boosting nothing.
And there's the recall.
There is indeed the recall into the Zerg main, whereupon two Zealots and a horde of probes will attempt to worker rush the Zerg. Let me tell you, Nota, you executed this much better against me.
Yeah, but watch my mineral count and drone count.
The Queen has been surrounded and will go down. And there just aren't enough Lings to turn back the probes. Looks like the Zealots have already been defeated, however.
I have 1 worker and 45 minerals.
Run, little worker, run! There's the 50th mineral.
Yay, I can make 1 worker.
A handful of Lings move out, pick off a couple of isolated probes. And the Queen starts working down the Nexus.
I probably should have sent my Lings right across the map to attack, but I was worried he was going to recall again.
So you made the same mistake I did.
I don't remember what mistakes you made. But the mistake I made was not putting down like 2 spines as soon as I saw he was doing this.
So Nota now with only 4 probes remaining after his assault. He is going to move into a cannon defense. Nexus and all assailing Protoss units and materiel is now removed. Mr. Zak is free to rebuild, with his opponent having a single worker advantage.
I was hoping there would be a cannon.
The cannon will successfully defend Nota's base.
I wanted to kill that pylon, and I'm sure he couldn't build any more units.
Yeah, that was never going to happen.
Well, if the cannon wasn't there, I could have done it maybe. And now the long recovery for both of us begins.
A recovery which will go quite a bit faster for Mr. Zak thanks to the additional base structure.
Yes.
Nota's still edging out on the superior income.
Yep. So Nota's trying to figure out if he should try this same build against you two. As you saw, I moved my queen to the main so I could inject there. Since I had so many larvae, I couldn't spend at the natural.
Nota thinking for a moment that maybe he should get some gas and realizing there's no sense getting gas if I can't spend the gas with my minerals. An interesting placement of a cannon to defend his Artosis pylon.
Yeah, that was probably a waste of minerals, but...
Nota still with the worker advantage, up 14 to 10.
But I have the army advantage of 4 to 2. Thanks to my lings and the queen, I guess.
Are queens only 1 supply? I thought they were 2 supply.
Queen is 2 supply. But 3 lings is only...
3 lings should be 3 supply. Well, no. No, 1.5 supply.
1.5, but they rounded up.
Cybercore established. Now Nota's going for his gas. Man, all Nota needed to do is grab a worker, bait these lings into the cannons, and he could expand.
Yeah, I was not on hold position.
So it's going to be a roach composition for Mr. Zak to eventually come and counterattack.
I think this might just be trying to contain him better. I was getting nervous. I knew he was up on me at workers initially. Not that it would make a huge difference in the long run, but...
The worker count has evened out at 21-21. Mr. Zak with a far superior army supply.
Not that I can attack with what little I have here.
Actually, you can.
I think 3 lings and 2 roaches can kill 2 cannons.
They don't have to.
Cannons are guarding his mineral line.
No, they're not. They are not guarding his mineral line for shit.
Okay, true. Okay, roaches could sneak around behind.
Oh, yeah.
And hit them, yeah. Okay.
That's some very banshee thinking right there.
But he had a zealot that would run and attack them and stuff.
Between the 2 roaches and the handful of lings, you could have taken out the 1 zealot. The stalkers would have pushed you back when they popped out.
Enough. Now I have enough, but when I had only 2 roaches and 3 lings...
You have enough, but it hasn't reached this side of the map yet.
Now I do. Now I definitely do. But I'm saying, like, right now, what I have in front of it is natural. I think I could probably move in. But I was very nervous. Now he's chronoing an immortal, which is
Very good decision.
quite yes, very good decision.
And he's getting shield
he's
batteries.
getting
Another
shield battery.
excellent decision.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nota is not... There we go. Yes, you need to fight with your cannons. Mr. Zak is definitely here with something which might have been called overwhelming force, but very much not so. Here's the Immortal popping out and going to clean up the rest of these roaches. But Nota still with not enough mobile forces to extend out and take his natural, which leaves Mr. Zak with a very significant advantage in the form of his second base. Mr. Zak going for the corrosive bile kill on a couple of workers, hopefully. And he will get one. Some units getting distracted firing on an overlord instead of chasing down the actual threat.
Yeah. So I got one kill. Oh well.
Now Mr. Zak appears to still be sending all of his new overlords across the map.
Yeah, I want to find out what he's doing.
You want to lose overlords for no good reason.
I have plenty of supply. I can afford to lose a few overlords to keep an eye on what he's doing up to.
Nota now claiming a second base, but I think it's beyond the point of no return. Nota's now got a pretty significant economic disadvantage. And a spire
and
comes
spire
out.
goes down.
Interestingly, in addition to the spire, a Stargate will also be placed. So once again, Mr. Zak, with the resource acquisition advantage of 4 geysers to 2, Nota should be turning aggressive with the units he has.
Yeah, that would be slightly terrifying. Although, by the time he gets across the map, I could probably handle what he has.
Maybe. Or maybe he could do some trading with you and just recall home. He already proved he knows how to use it.
Yeah, true.
He could get in there, do some damage, and if the worst should occur, he just goes home. What Nota really needs here is a couple of zealots, and then he needs to just shove out.
Does he have zealot speed, though? He does not.
He does not. He just needs the zealots for a little bit of anti-ling, because stalkers and immortals would not stand up well to a sudden ling flood.
True.
Mr. Zak claiming his third and another pair of geysers. 6 geyser Mutalisk. It's gonna clean things up pretty quick. And I'm gonna put you on the Mr. Zak cam while I go grab some water.
I suppose I should narrate. So here I'm just trying to keep an eye on what he's got, my overlords. And I'm moving out with my
You can see the mutiling
sort of anti-immortal
flossing the
push.
map. Staging outside
Zulu.
Nota's base. Just waiting for the opportunity to move in. Scouting overlord, moving ahead. Spotting the Phoenix.
Yeah, they did this Phoenix.
And Mr. Zak decides better to hit now before he has more than one. All the lings will go down pretty quickly. The roaches will overcome the stalkers, and Nota's lack of micro will result in the death of his immortal. Nota wisely fighting over his
Not sure
shield
what
battery
micro
with
and
his
immortal
Phoenix.
can do against mutas.
Mineral field depleted.
I wanted to make sure that War Prism died.
Nota's doing a good job
I wasn't
taking
sure
out
why
the
I was using
Mutacloud.
so many mutas. Yeah, I wasn't sure why I was losing so many, and I realized, oh, he's got a cannon there.
Not just the cannon, but more importantly, the battery keeping the Phoenix alive.
Yeah. That was a very good battery. That kept Nota alive a lot longer than he would have otherwise. Several times. Secret hidden thing to hide the replays?
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. Let's see. So that was just game 1, right?
It was game 1.
It's okay. It's okay. The spoiler thing wasn't very spoilery because everything was out of order.
Hooray.
So now we have mrxak versus Nota game 2 on Blue Shift LE.
So you're going to control shift 3 and then shift 1.
Nope.
It's not shift 1?
It's control 1.
Control 1. Shift 0. Wonder why it's putting me on the bottom. As I watch the replay, it has me on top.
No? Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. You're talking about the order of the,
The list of the names, yeah.
I'm still brainwashed from Brood War and the classic game mode of top versus bottom.
Yeah. Well, that goes way back to, like, Warcraft 2, I think. The top versus bottom games.
Nota executing not a Forge Fast Expand, but clearly indicating his intent to expand quickly.
He did block my natural. I was very happy about that.
And the harassment probe gets his scoutings in, seeing no probes and no pool and an expansion. What will he do with his little harassment probe? Will he drop a pylon nearby? Nope.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so slow on my,
Pool.
No, I guess I did it on the... I must have started the drones for it too late. I was busy chasing his probe around my overlord.
And his gateway is complete, and he drops down a cyber core before his nexus. What could he possibly be doing?
He's doing the classic wall off.
It's not expanding quickly enough here. Oscar arrives in the Protoss Natural.
Now I'm trying to remember, is this actually a good wall that he has here?
It is. Okay, here we go with some adepts coming out. This is going to give Nota some capacity to... Oh, he's even got 4 zealots too. He's going to attack with this.
He is totally going to attack with it, but I did see it.
And how
So I start making more lings.
mrxak will respond to this simply with lings? No pokey poke? He needs a pokey poke for the adepts.
Why would I need a pokey poke? I'm not going to fight them off creep, man.
Nota's attack comes in. His second adept apparently delayed. And yeah, these lings are going to clean up these Protoss units. No problem.
I was just continually making lings. He got the queen, though.
An adept will fall. And Nota's going to keep microing with his one adept here. Not the wisest decision, certainly not on open ground. Nota's follow-up will be to expand on the back of this attack. And Mr. Zak is just trying to drone his way out of it, as Zergs are wont to do.
Yeah, I was a little bit behind on workers, but I've needed my safety lanes. And I think at this point I'm going to go for a Baneling push.
We're dropping down
So
3
we got
more
second
gateways
gas.
and a forge and a robobay. Jeez. That's a lot of infrastructure to drop all at once. Almost like he spends as badly as I do. Warp gate is not being worked on. What is with all the Protoss not using Warp gate? Warp gate is good! Get Warp gate!
Yeah, we need to find some more Protoss for a group that actually build Warpgate. Oh. Yeah, I was gonna send all my lings to kill this probe, but instead I
Send only 3, which was a
Sent
wise
only 3.
decision.
yes.
Another adept will arrive in the hopes of scouting out what Mr. Zak is going to do. Very nicely shading into the base, seeing all the Zerglings. Allows the shade to complete and dies without seeing anything of consequence.
Yes.
Nota is completely ignorant of the Baneling nest nestled behind the mineral line in the main.
Or my 4 gases.
Or your 4 workers in 1 geyser.
It happens.
Oh no. You're gonna build a hatchery with this worker, and it's carrying 5 Vespene. No!
Yeah.
No! Hatcheries should not cost Vespene.
So here comes the Bane bust.
He'll pretty quickly blow out that zealot. And the Lings are entering the base, but they will pretty... Nota, what are you doing? They should very easily... Nota, what are you doing? Nota! Nota! Fight! You have plenty to flee... No! No! Finally! Finally, yes, the force field.
Yeah, he kept quite a few lings out. I would have rushed in there.
He's even got a couple of zealots up in the main. Get the zealots down to the wall! Get the zealots to the wall!
And I just go home.
This zealot is hereby named Jack Nicholson. I want him on that wall. But he is not on that wall. Come on! No! Nota! Put Jack Nicholson on the wall! And fill your geysers! Geysers are important. Meanwhile, while I've been facepalming a little too hard, Mr. Zak has double expanded, gotten a few more lings, and has begun his creep spread, putting down his first creep tumor at the 7-minute 20-second mark.
Yeah, I normally would get another queen at the natural to do that, but yeah.
Mr. Zak is deciding to follow this up with Spire and, I imagine, just a safety Hydralisk den, not intending to actually use the Hydras.
Why not use Hydras?
Because Hydras are slow ground units, and what you really want are fast air units to destroy the Protoss mineral lines.
Or he could just bust his wall with Hydras and then kill everything. I'm definitely working my way up to an expensive army, though. Getting lots of extra gas.
Nota hallucinating 2 Colossi and sending those across the map unsupported.
Yeah.
Nota commenting in the Twitch chat, it was a wrong button. He meant to make Phoenix. And now the Colossi are stuttering on... So total waste of energy. These Colossi just kind of poof into non-existence instead of at least serving some scouting potential.
Well, they did freak me out a little, because I think I saw those and was like, uh-oh. Colossi. I assumed he had a robo.
I don't think you saw those, but I'm going to go back and check.
I did a observer right there, didn't I? Or overseer? You already, you didn't go back far enough.
You didn't, huh? Oh, I see. You had the Overseer next to the place where they got spawned in, right next to the sentries.
Yeah.
I guess you... It's an Overseer. You would have seen that they were hallucinations.
Would I have?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't see these. Okay. Maybe I didn't see them.
But he does follow up with a couple of hallucinated Phoenix, and those will do the scouting job. Void Rays start warping in. Notice Stargates. I'm not sure why Nota is scouting with these Phoenix in the same location instead of splitting them up. But Nota will
I thought these were real.
Nota will spot the Spire. And he will respond with a fleet beacon. Warping in Zealots at home. Or not Zealots, Stalkers. A curious answer to the... Well, I guess he wanted the Stalkers for the anti-muta, despite having 3 Stargates. Dude, no. You have 3 Stargates, dude. You don't need Stalkers. Build something to answer the Hydralisk Den with your gateway units. You got plenty of stuff pumping into the air. Especially if you replicate last game's success with the use of shield batteries. And Nota comments, he actually did not notice the Spire, which is very sad.
Huh.
Mr. Zag, spooling his units just outside the Protoss gate. This Overseer continuing to go unmolested.
I think he knew it was there.
Nota strangely blocking his ramp with a Immortal. And Nota immediately panics and runs his units around in a circle before trying to do anything with them. There's some nice force fields keeping the Hydras out.
Yeah, I like that.
And he sacrifices his natural to the Zerg Onslaught and all the workers thereon, preferring to make his stand up at the top of his main, where he will have a couple of carriers pop out in just moments.
Again, a nice force field.
Yes. Unfortunately, he's keeping his units too close. There we go. Now he needs to maintain that force field and pick apart the Hydralisks with his carriers without exposing himself to fire. Unfortunately, he lets all his sentries die, so he cannot maintain this force field.
Well, also the carriers take so long to get going now.
So Mr. Zach will walk right up the ramp, chase the carriers down, and we should be seeing GG before too long.
You assume my micro. I'm not gonna chase down some carriers when I can just A-move into the base.
Sad. Sad. It's such a basic maneuver.
I probably had injects to do, Yui. I'd rather have 3 more larvae each of my bases than...
Then lose 9 larvae worth of
carriers.
units.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm doing it again. Exposing things.
Oh no.
Of course, they are once again out of order. So you'd have to look at it pretty hard to be spoiled. That was...
So, what game was that?
That was Round Robin 2, Game 2, Mr. Zach versus Nota. 2 wins
Oh,
for
okay.
Mr. Zach. That is the end of the Mr. Zach versus Nota matchup. Terminating stream. And, terminating stream and setting up for the next one.